Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Fun with Mathematics, or you can say Mathematics is Fun. Today I am there with a new video on ratios and proportions, class 7 NCERT by Priyanshi Chaudhary. So let's start without wasting any time. So yeah guys, in the previous video we had discussed about percentages in detail, but today we are going to do ratios and proportions. So let's learn what are ratios. So in certain situations, sometimes the comparison of two quantities by the method of division is very efficient, or you can say very helpful. So when two quantities are in simplified form and when they are of same kind, they are referred to as ratio. So कोई दो क्वांटिटी होनी चाहिए जो सेम तरह की है और simplified form में. Let me explain you this with the help of an example, right? Suppose I have rupees 20, right? And Ram has rupees 100. Yeah, so they're same. So the units here are same, right? But they're not in simplified form. So I need to convert them to simplified form. So rupees 20 to rupees 100. So they are not in simplified form. I can divide them further, right? So this will be 1 and this will be 5, right? So now I can say that this is in simplified form, right? This relation gives us how many times one quantity is equal to the other quantity. Now let me explain you this. So here we get to know that 100 is 5 times of 20, or if you place 100 in front and 20 in the second or in the last, you'll still write or you still find same meaning, right? So क्या होगा? 100 is 5 times of 20. Now a ratio is the number that can be used to express one quantity as a fraction of the other ones. So we can also express ratios as fractions, right? So ratios as fractions. So here we have 20 upon 100. Just a second. So here we have 20 to 100. So we can write 20 upon 100. We write the first number as our numerator and the last number as our denominator, right? 20 upon 100 is not same as 100 upon 20. These two things are different. So please see the order of the numbers while writing while converting ratios to fractions or fractions to ratios. Clear? Yeah, so we make use of ratios to compare two things. The sign used to denote a ratio is this, a colon. What is the sign? This colon. That's why I have used this colon between the two numbers in the ratio. So you can also write 2 as well as the colon. So how to read this? When we read this ratio, we always read the first number. So we will say rupees 100 to rupees 20. Clear? If 20 is in front, then we'll read it as rupees 20 to rupees 100, right? Next, a ratio can be written as a fraction, say 2 by 5, as I have already explained to you. We happen to see various comparisons or say ratios in our daily life, right? Learning ratios and proportions will help you in your life further, right? So hence the ratio can be represented in three different forms, such as A to B, as I have already explained, A to B, right? So 100 to 20. Then A is to B. When a colon is there, then we read it as is to, right? So 100 is to 20. And then A upon B as the fraction. 100 upon 20, this one. ठीक है? Now let's go further. Now these are key points to remember what we learned in ratios. So the ratio should exist between the quantities of the same kind. Means the quantities should be of the same kinds. ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक पैसा ले लिया, एक रुपीस ले लिया, एक मीटर ले लिया, एक किलोमीटर ले लिया. अगर ऐसा कोई हमें क्वेश्चन मिलता है, so first we need to convert them to same यूनिट. क्लियर? हमें उनको सेम यूनिट में लेना है, फिर हम रेशियोज निकालेंगे. ठीक है? While comparing two things, the unit should be similar. There should be significant order of terms. So हमें ऐसा नहीं करना कि A is to B है तो हमने फ्रैक्शनल फॉर्म में B ले लिया. पहले कुछ नहीं होता, B ले लेते हैं, क्या होता है, और फिर हमने B is to A लिख दिया, तो वो इक्वल नहीं होगा. ऐसा मत करना. ठीक है? And last, the comparison of two ratios can be performed if the ratios are equivalent. So the ratios should be equivalent, right? If we are comparing two ratios. Now let's learn about proportions. So what are proportions? When two ratios are equal or equivalent, then they are said to be in proportion. Suppose yeah, just a second. The sign for proportion is this, double colon. एक colon लो और दूसरा भी लगा दो, तो double colon, right? In this proportion 2 is to 3 and is in proportion with 6 is to 9. तो ये एक example है, right? तो यहाँ पे 2 is to 3 is equal to 6 is to 9. यहाँ पे ये दोनों जो ratios हैं, this and this, they both are equal. If any two ratios are in proportion, so this indicates that both of them are equal or equivalent. Next, here 2 and 9 are my extreme terms. Now we learn about the terms. So here 2 and 9 are in the extreme, right? So that's why they are called as extreme terms, whereas 3 and 6 are in, right? So that's why they are called as mean terms. For example, 4 is to 5 is in proportion with 8 is to 10. So here 4 and 10 are extreme terms, whereas 5 and 8 are my mean terms. Clear? Let's go further. Now we learn how to check proportions. Now we learn how to check whether two ratios are in proportions or not. So when the products of mean terms and extreme terms are equal, then they are in proportion. For example, 4 is to 5 is in proportion with 8 is to 10, right? This was the previous example. So here let's check whether they are equivalent, whether the ratios are equivalent or not, right? Whether they are in proportion or not. So the product of the extreme terms and the mean terms should be equal. The product, not the sum, not the difference, not the quotient, just the product, right? So 4 into 10 is 40 and 8 into 5 is 40. We get the same result, right? So that's why we can say that these two ratios are in proportions if the results are same, right? We can also express them as in fractions, right? So 4 by 5 into 8 by 10 means they should be equal if they are in proportion. So then how will we do that? We'll just cross multiply, right? 4 with 10 and 5 with 8. But where will we write the product? Under which fraction? Let me tell you. The product is written under the fraction of which you take the numerator. हम जिसका numerator लेते हैं उस fraction के नीचे product लिखते हैं. So 4 into 10 40 हुआ, तो हमने 4 का numerator लिया इस fraction का, right? So वो हो गया 40 इधर इसके नीचे है, तो same way 8 into 5 40 और हमने न्यूमरेटर किसका लिया? इस फ्रैक्शन का, तो 40 here. That is how we do. So in this proportion, we get the product as follows: 40-40. The product is same, hence the ratios are in proportions. If the product is different, then they are not in proportion. Right? So now you can identify easily whether two ratios are in proportions or not. Right? One important thing, guys, the link of this video and the link of this PPT is there in the description. Kindly go and check if you want this PPT. Right? So that's it for today. Thank you for watching my video. But before quitting, before exiting, please don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't till now. Like my video, share it, and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any update of my channel or my new video. Right? Thank you so much. Bye bye.